Guys, Atlantic City has been struggling. You've got the Showboat and Trump Plaza both scheduled to close next month, and we've been following it, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. So I went to Atlantic City this morning, spoke to Mayor Don Guardian. He told me that Atlantic City has to figure out a way to change things if it wants to survive, but Atlantic City is not dead.
So Atlantic City, maybe 15 years after Vegas, has realized that it's not all about casinos, it's about the overall experience of coming to a resort.
I also spoke to longtime Atlantic City entertainment reporter Whitney Ullman, and Whitney said there's a lot more going on in Atlantic City. People just don't know it.
I think that there's a big misconception in the national media, and I think that if people would actually come to Atlantic City, they would see that there's a lot going on and that we are thriving.
Revel Casino is now set to go to auction as soon as next month. Longtime investigative reporter Alex Zidane is here with us. A lot going on with Revel, and tell us what you found.
If you have $50 million, you might be able to own a casino.
Nice.
So
Should
Revel,
we pass the hat?
Yep, we can. Revel's going up for auction next month. Minimum bid's $50 million. It's open to the public, even though the auction's going to be held behind closed doors.
Alex, did you say 50 million?
50 million's a minimum bid.
But didn't they invest billions into building the Revel Casino? I mean,
well, $2.4 billion.
What kind of a gamble was that with taxpayer monies on the part of the politicians?
Well,
I mean,
you know the
can
House
we get a
always
refund?
wins, Seville. But the problem is here, part of that $2.4 billion, more than 10%, $261 million, was taxpayer money in the form of tax credits and incentives that the Christie administration dumped into the Revel when it was struggling 2 years ago.
You mentioned Senator Sweeney, Senate President Sweeney, gubernatorial hopeful.
Maybe, yeah. People have been talking about him doing that for a long time.
But in part of looking into this, we found that he's got a whole bunch of money he's sitting on. Does that relate to the casino?
His campaign war chest is big. I mean, he's obviously got a account for running for state senate again. He hasn't announced whether or not he's going to run for governor. He's got almost $1 million in it today with the election 3 years away. And it's possible that when you think about it, the North Jersey politicians who have been saying for a long time they want casinos in the Meadowlands to compete with New York and Pennsylvania, it's possible that he could cut a deal with them in which they support him for governor, he gives them the casino.
And the problem with Atlantic City, and everyone says that's why they're building them along the borders. It becomes proximity. People will drive 20 minutes now to go to a casino instead of driving all the way across the state, is what they used to do in Atlantic City.
I don't think Atlantic City is doing as bad as we make it sound because these casinos are closing. There's a lot of things that are happening, but they're all getting pushed aside because the only conversation that we're hearing is about these.
And she's right, because the beach occupancy rates, they're up. People are going to Atlantic City, they're just not spending enough money at the gambling table.
Approximately 10,000 jobs are at stake, so something has to be done to save the casinos in Atlantic City or create new industry. Alex, we appreciate it. We'll have you back soon.